Hi, I'm Shim of Shim So Creative. Welcome back to part 6 of my Viki Sews pattern review series. Today we're going to be talking about Leighton. Leighton is a modal style pant that I made last year. It's a really cute pant. We're going to get right into it, but before we do, you're probably wondering what's up with the setup, where's the mannequin, and honestly, I batch shot these videos a few days ago, about 5 of them, and well, the audio wasn't connecting properly to the microphone, and so I had to redo it. And so I'm in a different space, but same information. I'll keep a picture of Leighton right here in this native space. So let's get right into the pattern description. So Leighton is advanced. It's a pair of close-fitting flare pants. The front features slash pockets and a wash pocket on the right. The front has shaped yokes and design lines at the knee level, with the bottom edge of the top front leg being free hanging. The back has a yoke and design lines behind the knees. The applied waistband features decorative top stitching and top stitch belt loops. The pants have a fly front zipper closure. The waistband closes with 2 studs, buttons, and buttonholes. All right, so I purchased a size 42, recommended fabrics, opaque, non-stretch, natural fibers, cotton blends, denim without elastine. So no elastic. It looks like you need about 1 1/4 to 2 yards of fabric, depending on your size, and maybe a 1/4 yard of lining fabric. That's Leighton. Okay, so let's get into the design details in the fabric choice. So the fabric that I chose was a coated denim. It's black. It's basically denim with like paint on it. So one thing I will say about this fabric, while you can iron on this fabric, be really careful not to pull the paint off of the garment. So use a pressing cloth or something like that if you decide to go with a like coated denim. But what I do like about the coated denim is that it gives it like a leathery look. So it looks a lot more expensive than it was, which was like $11 a yard, I think. So that is my fabric choice. And I chose this fabric because I wanted these pants to match a jacket that I had created a few months earlier. So we love a cord set. In terms of the design, so Leighton has a lot of design style lines, I guess. There's like this cool like knee flap thing that goes on in the knee in the front, and then in the back it has some like stitch details, some top stitching details in there. It also is like a real jean pattern. So this is actually my first time making a real pair of jeans, and it has like, the real like pockets and the yoke in the back and the carriers and all of that. So this is like a legit pair of jeans. But what I love most is that all the style lines really gives it like a moto style pants. And I thought, well, if I'm gonna try a pair of jeans, I might as well go all in. So these jeans are not necessarily for like a beginners. I don't necessarily recommend them for like my first pair of jeans, but it worked out for me. So if you're confident, go for it. Let's talk about the construction experience. So my experience constructing this, it was pretty easy. The only like kind of tough part I think about this pants or these jeans is like around the kneecap part, because it actually like it's kind of like 3D, kind of flips up. So it has like a little gusset and then the front piece, which was like a little tricky. And then typically when you start a pair of pants, you do the zipper fly first. For these, the zipper fly was not the first step. I think you actually construct the back of the pant first, actually, before you move on to the front. And it didn't really make as much sense to me while I was making it. Like, why are we waiting? But I think after I done it, I realized why it was important to follow the instructions. hmm Go in the order that she tells you to, and do the zipper fly. But it is a little tricky putting in a zipper fly when the pant is more constructed than you typically do in a standard pair of pants. So that was it. I did add about 4 inches of length to the pants. I didn't need that. The pants dragged the floor even with heels. So I am going to go back in and cut off a couple inches from the pants. So I know I always talk about the length and things like that. Even after adding length, sometimes it's not enough. But for Leighton, it's already a lengthy pant. So yeah, construction process, pretty good. Pretty good. A little challenging for me because it's my first pair of jeans, but not too crazy. Let's talk about fit and how I styled it. So, how I styled this is with the aviator style jacket that I created. It was inspired by Mugler. Um, Super cute. Love the look. It's very chic, very like biker girl, but fashion. But make it fashion always. So that's how I styled the pants. But they are just like jeans, so you could wear them with t-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies and button downs. I think because I made them in like a black color, they pretty much go with anything. They're very versatile. They do have a slight flare, so you could wear them really easily with boots as well in the fall. Um, in terms of fit, I cut the size 42, but I will say because my denim has absolutely no stretch, they are like restrictive in a sense. Like it's tight around my butt and hip area. So if I do these again, I would pick a denim that has a little bit of stretch in it because I don't think that they're like too small. Like they're not too small in the waist, but they're just very tight. And so it's a little restrictive, and I think that's more of a fabric choice than the fit of the pant. But I will say with that, there's not a lot of ease in the pants. So pros, cons, final thoughts. Pro is a very like cute detail pin. If you're looking for a jean that's a little bit more elevated, that has some more style design, you don't want to do just a basic jean pants pattern because there's tons of those out there. Leighton is a good choice. If you're looking for a bit of a stretch project, I think it's also a good choice because of the detailing and all of the top stitching, tons and tons of top stitching. So if you're looking for a project that'll push your skills and maybe your patience a little bit, this is a good one for that. Cons, the only con, like I said, because it's a very slim, very small amount of ease in the pant, it is a little bit more restrictive. So if you have a more curvy frame, I think this pant might be difficult to wear. You might have to make some seat adjustments and things like that. You might have to, you know, add some space in the hip area for that because the pant is very straight. It's a very straight seam line pant. So that would be one of my cons because I think that kind of limits it in terms of being size inclusive, right? The patterns aren't super size inclusive to start with, but because of the design of this particular pin, there's no wiggle room. There's no space for your curves. So be mindful of that if you have to do, seat adjustments and things like that to fit a curvier body. Any more cons that I have? I don't really have any more cons, particularly because I'm not an expert in constructing jeans. So maybe if this wasn't my first pair of jeans and probably my only pair of jeans actually, then I might have more opinions on the pattern. But because this is my first time, I don't really have any cons. The instructions were easy to follow. The pieces go together well, and it does make a really cool and cute pair of pants, in my opinion. So. I don't have any more cons, but I do think they could put a little more ease in there. So all in all, I recommend the pants. Like I said, beware that it is a slim pant. But otherwise it's a good one to have fun with and try something new, especially if you're someone who loves garments with details. And that is one thing that Viki Sews does a really good job at doing, is bringing us patterns that have more details. And so yeah, it's more time consuming. It may take a little bit more expertise to do it really well, but it's a great way to grow. It's a great way to grow. So I highly recommend it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and checking back for these pattern reviews. Also, Down below, I will put a link to the pattern, as well as I'm an ambassador for Viki Sews, so every month I get a code. So check the bottom in the description for a code. In November, I didn't get a code. They were doing some changes with their website, but I'm hoping in December there's a code so that you guys can save an extra 20% off your pattern purchase. Bye!